More than 2,000 years before the bombs fell over Europe, before tanks crossed frozen battlefields, and before the beaches of Normandy became the center of history, a military strategist from ancient China wrote a book about war. A book so powerful that centuries later, generals, presidents, and military commanders would still study its lessons. His name was Sun Tzu, and his book was called The Art of War. But what many people do not realize is this: the principles written by Sun Tzu appeared everywhere during World War II, especially inside the strategy used by the United States against Nazi Germany. Because America did not win the war through weapons alone. America won through intelligence, deception, industry, logistics, speed, and strategy. And many of those ideas reflected principles written more than 2,000 years ago when Adolf Hitler launched his invasions across Europe. Germany relied heavily on speed, fear, and overwhelming attacks. Entire nations collapsed within weeks. Nazi commanders believed their military machine could dominate the world. But while Germany focused on rapid conquest, the United States slowly began preparing something much larger. An industrial and strategic war machine unlike anything history had ever seen. Sun Tzu once wrote that every battle is won before it is ever fought. And in many ways, America understood this perfectly. During the early years of the war, the United States transformed its economy into a weapon. Massive factories operated day and night producing tanks, aircraft ships, ammunition, and supplies on a scale Germany could never fully match. While German cities suffered shortages, American production continued growing stronger. Every month, the United States understood something critical: wars are not won only on battlefields. They are won through preparation, logistics, planning, and endurance. As American industry expanded, military strategists also studied how to weaken Germany without direct confrontation at every moment. Bombing campaigns targeted factories, railroads, oil supplies, and industrial centers. Germany slowly lost its ability to fuel tanks, move troops, and maintain equipment. Sun Tzu once wrote that the supreme art of war is to defeat the enemy without fighting, and slowly America began destroying Germany's ability to continue the war itself. But perhaps the greatest example of strategy came before D-Day. By 1944, Hitler knew the Allies would invade Europe somewhere along the Atlantic coast. German defenses stretched across beaches, bunkers, artillery positions, and fortified walls. Nazi commanders waited for the largest invasion in history, but the United States and Allied forces launched one of the greatest deception operations ever created. Operation Fortitude: fake tanks, fake radio signals, fake military camps, false intelligence reports. Everything was carefully designed to convince Hitler that the invasion would happen somewhere else, and at the center of the deception stood General George Patton, one of the most feared American commanders of the war. German intelligence believed Patton would lead the main invasion at Pas-de-Calais instead of Normandy. Hitler trusted the false information. German divisions waited in the wrong location while Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy. Sun Tzu once wrote that all warfare is based on deception, and on D-Day, deception helped change the course of the war, but strategy alone was not enough. America also mastered mobility and speed. One of Sun Tzu's most famous principles says speed is the essence of war, and few commanders represented this better than George Patton. His armored divisions moved across Europe with incredible aggression. Tanks advanced through France day and night, cutting supply lines, surrounding enemy positions, and creating chaos behind German defenses. German commanders constantly struggled reacting to Patton because his speed prevented them from rebuilding strong defensive positions. While Germany exhausted itself trying to defend collapsing fronts, American momentum only continued growing stronger. The United States also understood another lesson from the art of war: know your enemy. Throughout the war, Allied intelligence studied German movements, communications, production weaknesses, and military behavior. Every intercepted message, every captured document, and every aerial photograph became part of America's growing strategic advantage. Information itself became a weapon. Meanwhile, Hitler increasingly ignored military reality. German commanders argued among themselves. Resources disappeared, fuel shortages crippled armored divisions, and Allied bombing destroyed industrial production. Germany slowly lost the ability to sustain modern warfare while the United States continued expanding its power across both Europe and the Pacific. And this is where Sun Tzu's philosophy becomes impossible to ignore. Because the war was not won simply through violence, it was won through patience, intelligence, logistics, deception, discipline, and strategic pressure. America turned factories into weapons, information into weapons, planning into weapons. And step by step, Nazi Germany collapsed beneath a system designed not only to fight wars, but to outthink its enemies. Even after World War II, military academies across the United States continued studying the art of war. Generals, intelligence agencies, business leaders, and presidents all recognized the same truth. Sun Tzu understood something timeless. Victory belongs not only to the strongest army, but to the side that understands strategy better than its enemy. And during World War II, the United States mastered that strategy on a scale the world had never seen before, because in the end, America did not simply overpower Nazi Germany. America outproduced, outplanned, outmaneuvered, and outlasted it. More than 2,000 years after Sun Tzu wrote The Art of War, his principles still echoed across the battlefields of Europe, proving that some strategies never truly disappear. They simply evolve with history.